All right. Hello, everyone. Today we're doing lesson 45. God is the mind with which I think. Today's idea holds the key to what your real thoughts are. They are nothing that you think, just as nothing that you think you see is related to vision in any way. There is no relationship between what is real and what you think is real. Nothing that you think are your real thoughts resemble your real thoughts in any respect. Nothing that you think you see bears any resemblance to what vision will show you. You think with the mind of God, therefore you share your thoughts with Him as He shares His with you. They are the same thoughts because they are thought by the same mind. To share is to make alike or to make one. Nor do the thoughts you think with the mind of God leave your mind, because thoughts do not leave their source. Therefore your thoughts are in the mind of God as you are. They are in your mind as well, where He is. As you are part of His mind, so are your thoughts part of His mind. Man, this stuff sounds confusing. Okay, let's see if I can decipher what this is saying today. I get what the first paragraph is talking about, and it's recognizing that none of my thoughts that I think or believe in are real. They are simply judgments and opinions and lies that I've been taught to believe in to be true. And if I willingly go in with Holy Spirit, He shows me that everything that I've been thinking to be true and real is not. It's a lie. As for the second paragraph, what I'm taking it to mean for me is that I have always been part of God and God has always been part of me. And it's only because I've been taught to think the way I have that I don't think with Holy Spirit, that I think with my ego and my egoic beliefs. And what I'm getting is that all of us, if we would willingly go within and seek out the truth there, we would see that we are still connected to God. And it's Holy Spirit that can show us that connection. Is this a correct interpretation of this? I don't know, but that's what it says to me. It's a lot of back, forth, and it gets very confusing for me. Continuing on. Where then are your real thoughts? Today we will attempt to reach them. We will have to look for them in your mind, because that is where they are. They must still be there because they cannot have left their source. What is thought by the mind of God is eternal, being part of creation. So, what I'm getting from the third paragraph there is it comes back to the fact that we project out what we believe. And what we are being asked to do is to go in and look at our thoughts. And in doing so, Holy Spirit will show us the thoughts that are of God. He will show us the truth of what we have been believing in to be true, and then He will show us God's truth. And when we see it, we recognize it as the truth, because it's always been there in us. But once again, we have to go in and we have to ask for that correction. We have to be asked to be shown it by Holy Spirit. continuing on. Our 3 5-minute practice periods for today will take the same general form that we used in applying yesterday's idea. We will attempt to leave the unreal and seek for the real. We will deny the world in favor of truth. We will not let the thoughts of the world hold us back. We will not let the beliefs of the world tell us that what God would have us do is impossible. Instead, we will try to recognize that only what God would have us do is possible. So right there, it's talking about how our ego wants us to stop, not look at these things, and that it's not possible to do all these things. Those are delaying tactics of the ego. And here it's telling us that everything is possible. It is possible for us to go in and look at the truth of what we're believing in, to look at our thoughts and to see them for what they are. We will also try to understand that only what God would have us do is what we want to do. And we will also try to remember that we cannot fail in doing what He would have us do. There is every reason to feel confident that we will succeed today. It is the will of God. Begin the exercises for today by repeating the idea to yourself, closing your eyes as you do so. Then spend a fairly short period in thinking a few relevant thoughts of your own, keeping the idea in mind. After you have added some 4 or 5 thoughts of your own to the idea, repeat it again and tell yourself gently, "My real thoughts are in my mind. I would like to find them." Then try to go past all the unreal thoughts that cover the truth in your mind and reach to the eternal. Under all the senseless thoughts and mad ideas with which you have cluttered up your mind are the thoughts that you thought with God in the beginning. They are there in your mind now, completely unchanged. They will always be in your mind exactly as they always were. Everything you have thought since then will change, but the foundation on which it rests is wholly changeless. So what it's talking about there, folks, is the truth is within us. And that is the foundation that He is trying to help us build underneath our feet. A foundation of truth. Our egoic beliefs are not solid footing. They are rocky and unstable in the extreme. This is why He was telling us yesterday to look, the day before, to look at our foundational thoughts, the foundation of our beliefs, our core beliefs that we believe define us and define the world around us, along with everyone and everything in it. Those are what He is asking us to look at, because He's trying to show us the truth of what it is we've been believing in to be true. And He's trying to show you what the truth is. What the truth is and what the foundation of your beliefs will be best based off of. All right. It is this foundation toward which the exercises for today are directed. Here is your mind joined with the mind of God. Here are your thoughts one with His. For this kind of practice, only one thing is necessary. Approach it as you would an altar dedicated in heaven to God the Father and to God the Son. For such is the place you are trying to reach. You will probably be unable as yet to realize how high you are trying to go. Yet even with the little understanding you have already gained, you should be able to remind yourself that this is no idle game, but an exercise in holiness and an attempt to reach the kingdom of heaven. As you begin to look at these things that you are believing to be true, you are going to find within yourself a stability. As you hand over your egoic beliefs and accept Holy Spirit's vision, His truth, you will find for yourself that the more you look, the less of a game it is. It becomes very, very serious because you no longer want the pain and suffering. And because of that, you strive to look at every little thing that He brings before you, because you don't want to sit there continuing on the egoic path you have been on all your life. And it's only by looking at this stuff and seeing the truth of what it is that you have been believing to be true. These things that you keep enacting on yourself, saying, this is who I am. This is what defines me in this world. Whether it be the clothing you wear, the foods you eat, the places you work, the car you drive, the TV shows you watch, all these different things you name as defining who you are. Even the judgments and opinions laid on you by your family and friends, your peers, your teachers, your co-workers. These are the things that we are learning to look at and see the truth of. That they are based off of, I keep saying lies. They're untrue. They are not real. Those are the illusion that He keeps talking to us about. It's an illusion that we've been taught to believe in. It is a very twisted way of thinking. Continuing. In the shorter exercise periods for today, try to remember how important it is to you to understand the holiness of the mind that thinks with God. Take a minute or two as you repeat the idea throughout the day to appreciate your mind's holiness. Stand aside, however briefly, from all thoughts that are unworthy of Him whose host you are, and thank Him for the thoughts He is thinking with you. All right, this was lesson 45. God is in the mind with which I think. If you have been doing the work, folks, you are going within to Holy Spirit and asking Him for your corrections to your misperceptions. You are looking at all the things He brings forth to you, that He lays before you for you to look at. All your experiences, all the situations you are going through or have been through in your life. If you are truly doing this work and looking at these things as He brings them up for you, you are going to be asking Him for the truth. Ask Him to correct your misperceptions and to show you why all of these things happen the way they did. What is it that you're missing in it? What is it that you have done to yourself in all of this? What are you believing in to be true? And in everything, He will show it to you. You know, my husband and I are not any better than anybody else. And we still have things that we're going through. I have actively been looking at every single little thing he brings before me without picking and choosing what I think it is he's having me look at. And yet, in that same way, I notice at times that my husband does not do that same thing, which causes him a lot of pain and suffering. And, you know, not too long ago, we were having little bouts here on the camera, and in them, we were showing just how differently both of us think, how we see things. And we were also pointing out the truth of where we are on our journeys. There are things that all of us don't want to look at. We don't want to look at, and we don't want to deal with. There are still things that are coming up for me in my life. Things that are there on the periphery that I never, ever even thought of until it's brought up for me to look at. And then I recognize, wow, that's where I got that belief from. And it's not until I start looking at these things, these core beliefs that were taught to me when I was an infant and all through my childhood. As I'm seeing all these things and asking for the corrections, I'm getting them. And I keep saying, do the work, folks. And that's all I can do. You know, I talk to my husband, and when he's sitting there pouring his heart out to me, all I can think to do is ask questions. What is it are you believing to be true in this? What are your core beliefs here? What are you believing defines you in all this? What are you believing defines the world around you in this? If you're having conflict, then you have a misperception inside, a belief that isn't true. So what is it you're believing in? And anytime I ask him that, he gets very angry and upset with me and walks away. Because there's something there he's not willing to look at right now. He's not ready to look at. And with things like that, I have to sit here and just allow and accept that that's how it is for him. There's nothing I can do about it. I have no say in it. And it hurts me every time watching him go through that. Feeling his emotions as they come up. The raw energy of them. The raw emotion. All I can do is sit here and literally cry at times. And just tell him, I just want to hold you. Because I can feel how much pain and anguish he's experiencing. I feel it as if it's my own, even though I recognize it's all his. And all I can do is open my arms and say, honey, I'm here for you. If you want, I can hold you and comfort you. I can't tell you what it is you need to do. All I can do is ask questions that lead you to look within your own mind and heart at what it is you're believing to be true in this. But until you're ready and willing to do so, I can't do anything. I don't have an answer. I just have questions. These are the kinds of things that all of us go through. And these are the questions that Holy Spirit kept asking me. What is it you're believing to be true, Sabrina? What is it that you are putting your faith and trust and belief into, Sabrina? What is it that you are basing your truths on? What is it that you're believing in all of this? What is it that you are defining in all of this? What are your definitions in all of this? These are the questions Holy Spirit literally asks me when I feel inner conflict. I've gotten to a point where I am hearing His voice because I have learned to listen for it. I have learned to shut out my ego thoughts. When I hear those thoughts come up, I'm like, okay, you know what? That is an ego thought. I'm not going there. You need to just shut the hell up, ego. I am not going to play with you. And he shuts up. My ego thoughts shut up because I am not going to play that game. That game of, oh, my husband's been done at the job for 20 minutes. Why hasn't he called me to check in yet? Oh, why is this person cutting me off so rudely and then flipping me off? Oh my God, look at that person out there and what they're doing. How dare they sit there and yell at that child? It's like those are egoic thoughts and beliefs. Those are the types of things that the ego mind has coming up. Oh, who's that that's trying to message him now? He needs to just tell them that he's married. Shit like that. It wants you to be jealous. It wants you to be afraid. It wants you to feel guilt. It wants you to feel shame. And it wants you to seek out like minds. When you are in that egoic mind, everyone that's around you has a like mind to you at this time. They see things the exact same way you do, which is why you have surrounded yourself with those people. As we've been doing this course for the last, well, this is our 4th year doing it now. So for the last 3 years, we have been finding within the last 2 years that we have been cutting people out of our lives. One after another, after another, after another. As we recognize that where they're at and what they think and believe and how they treat us is no longer acceptable for us. Their judgments, their opinions, their unwillingness to allow us to be as we are is no longer acceptable to us. We're fine with allowing them to think and believe as they do, but we are not going to sit there and have them shoving their belief down our throats, telling us that we need to follow them. We need to do what they say we need to do. And these are the kinds of things that we are being shown. As we do this work, we're finding that these types of things are no longer acceptable to us. It is absolutely unacceptable. All right, folks, this was lesson 45. God is in the mind with which I think. Do the work. Do the work and do not pick and choose the things that He is showing you of what you think it is or is not. Look at all of it. Ask Him what He would have you see in this. Please do the work. It's the only way you'll heal. My name is Sabrina Reyenga. Thank you for joining me today. Have a wonderful day. Namaste, everyone. Hats off to you. Hugs, love, and light. Many blessings.